Hi, everybody. So, where am I now? Okay, so in my devoted group, that's a group of us doing the Golden Path with a guide, Haley Curtis, this year. We're taking a whole year to go through the Golden Path. We are now moving from evolution through the pathway of breakthrough into our radiance. And as we do that, remember, I'm retired, and so I'm able to put a lot of time and energy into this inner work and really let it wash over me. The way I learn as a line 6, I have 5 line 6s in my chart, and as a line 6, I learn through trickling. And so it's always good for me to every day take in some of the gene keys in one format or another. And so as I am doing this retreat, this year-long quote retreat with all of these women, and yes, we are in the evolution moving through breakthrough into radiance. Radiance is really the sphere of this month. But at the same time, I'm doing the my action triangle in the star pearl. And at the same time, I am doing the dream arc. And at the same time, I am called to other things, other gene keys things. Let me be clear on that. Other gene keys things. I was listening to some of the webinars for the activation sequence for the sphere of radiance. And I saw a little note down at the bottom that said, watch Richard's video on YouTube about reincarnation, part 2, it said. So I followed that link, and it just hooked me. It's his Fragments of Light series, and it's all free on YouTube. And there are 5, at this point, 5 different short videos, 15 minutes, on Richard riffing on reincarnation. And I believe in that video 2, I think that's where he said it, but it could have been in any one of the 5. I listened to all 5 the other day when I was doing the dishes. And that sounds terrible. If they're 15 minutes each, did it take me that long to do the dishes? No, not really. One of the things that Richard said in the videos on reincarnation was that we can expand our ideas of time when we choose this belief about reincarnation. Because what if this lifetime right here that I am living as Megan was only one in a long series where I have chosen to achieve something within these many lifetimes, right? But this is only one of those lifetimes. You see, I have FOMO. That is actually one of my shadows. It's the shadow of superficiality. It's in my evolution sphere. It's gene key 20. And it's FOMO, fear of missing out. And I'm always in a frickin' hurry because I'm afraid I'm missing the boat, literally missing the arc. I'm going to miss the arc if I don't get the right answer somewhere, or if I don't do the right thing. I'm missing out on something, right? So I have all this diffused energy out there looking for the answer, looking for the right path, looking for the boat before it sails, and it creates a great deal of anxiety. It's the shadow, so it's a fear. It's this fear that if I don't find this, I'm going to be left behind. This also works beautifully with a line that I have in my evolution, 6, the line 6. And the line 6 in its shadow is always seeking resolution. It wants things to be resolved. It wants them to be finished. It wants them to be done. So here I am looking out there, fear of missing out because I need these things to be done, so that it's this anxiety within me. And yet, when I fall into this and allow it to be part of my life, it creates a great deal of compromise, right? And what I really need to do is relax into the moment and into the belief system that we can evolve. That is the line 6, aspiration. We can evolve. However, my idea that it can be done in this one lifetime, you see, I wanted the resolution, that it can be done in this lifetime is false. It's corrupted. It's a misbelief. And so I found great comfort when Richard was talking about this, first of all, this idea of that maybe we have this big project in many lifetimes, and I happen to be in this lifetime designated Megan, project title blank. So he said, what if we were here in this one lifetime simply to polish one thing? One thing. My FOMO has great difficulty with that. It's like it goes, huh? One thing does not compute. One thing. What if I was here simply to work on relationships? Kindness in relationship. Okay. What if I was here simply to understand the concept of conflict? Okay. And then, of course, my Gene Keys mind goes to, well, I have a frickin' map. Where in my map, on my chart, is it that tells me what that one thing is? Where is it? Which one is it? And, of course, I came to my own conclusion that is probably the core wound, because that's what turns into my vocation and what I'm here to teach. And then all of the other spheres are there to support that. So, I don't know. Is it? I don't know. But you know what? What if I just chose something and let it be that? So, he listed off a number of things in his video. What if you were here for forgiveness? What if you were here for, as I said, some of the other ones, conflict, whatever. The one that resonated the most for me was, what if you were here simply to polish self-forgiveness? That's all. What if this whole lifetime, it was all built around polishing this beautiful gem of self-forgiveness? This actually feeds beautifully into my radiance, which is Gene Key 40. And Gene Key 40 is all about relaxed resolve. So here I have this shadow over here in my evolution of always seeking, always looking for the answer, always feeling like I haven't found it, always feeling behind, missing the boat. But then the gift in my radiance says, focus. When you focus your energy, say no to that, say no to that, put up boundaries, say no, focus on one focus. It doesn't say necessarily one thing, but focus, then you actually open up huge worlds within that focus. And choosing one thing actually is partly that 40, right? It's focusing my energy. What if everything in my life is simply a mirror of learning self-forgiveness? And amongst that learning of self-forgiveness is self-forgiveness of my ancestral line, of my lineage. So as I'm learning self-forgiveness, I'm reprogramming all my cells for my past lineage and for my future lineage. And I'm cleaning up all of the karma, all of the dharma around self-forgiveness, right? And then I can look at my chart as ways to support that. For instance, my brand, my life's work is the way people see me in the world as I learn to self-forgive. My vocation fits perfectly into this because the shadow is dishonor and the gift is graciousness. And it's actually line 5, which is all about forgiveness. So what if I woke up every morning and just said just one thing, sweetie? Self-forgiveness. Self-forgiveness, and then all the richness that comes from that. And that doesn't mean that I'm not going to also explore forgiveness in others, because when I forgive myself, it just spreads out to everyone, because I can understand, I have compassion for others because I have forgiven myself. And I have forgiven all of the past hurts through all of my lineage. I've forgiven my ancestors because God knows I've got thousands of ancestors. I will have, with self-forgiveness, transmuted their sins, transmuted the evilness in their heart, transmuted their misbehavior, their misunderstandings, their own shadows, right, through my own self-forgiveness. So I thought that was a pretty amazing thought to go forward with in this balance between my evolution and my radiance, that 20 and the 40. And yeah, I don't know. Do you have one thing? Is there something that you could think of in your life? The other thing I was considering is something I've been noticing as I've been, this is the my third time through the Golden Path, probably 4th or 5th time through the activation sequence. And what I'm noticing is that I have, granted, I have all these spheres, and they each have their own keys to understanding who I am. And I have all these lines, the same thing, keys to understanding who I am. But amidst all of that, when I start putting them together in more of a hologram, there are themes in my chart that are really emerging. For instance, the theme of surrender is really strong in my chart. The theme of ease is very strong in my chart. The theme of equilibrium is strong in my chart. So I can, I have that one thing, self-forgiveness. Self-forgiveness has traveling companions. It has surrender on one side and equilibrium on another. And it has this beautiful ease in the way it travels, right? So I'm just starting to, I think I'm really starting to integrate more of my chart as a whole as I go through this yet another time. And as I go through the dream arc a third time, I'm with a new animal, and I'll have to do a whole other video for that. But I'm working now with the crane, which is the bird for Gene Key 20. And I'm doing a whole art journal with the crane, visiting all of the birds of my chart. And it's only in its infant stages, so I think I'll wait a while till I have some of it developed more. I don't even quite have a style for it yet, but that's an interesting project coming up. But I think with this integration comes more and more, in a way, I'm asking for more simplicity, right? I've done the complicated, trying to, really trying to nail down what is 34 up there in my life's work, and nail down what is 20 over here. And in my purpose 37, what is that all about? And how does it come out in my life? And then been through that whole Venus sequence, figuring out what happened in all those 7-year cycles. And, now it's time to really integrate all of that and make it more simple, because when I wake up with anxiety, I want to be able to calm myself. And if I can just calm myself by saying, you are forgiven. This day, you are forgiven. How do you choose to live your life today? Do you choose to be friends with your life today? Or are you going to be enemies? Yeah, I'd choose friendship too. Doesn't that feel better? Mm-hmm. It really does. So, my friends, thank you for listening. Have a great day.